world, you need something more powerful than any of us.
Everyone creates the thing they dread. Ultron in the flesh.
No matter who wins or loses, trouble always comes around. You've meddled with something you don't understand.
We have no place in the world.
I'm gonna tear you apart from the inside.
Oh boy.
Hello and welcome to the 172nd Avengers Age of Ultron review on YouTube. I don't really know if that number's accurate, but yeah. Hi, I'm Robert, and if you know me, great, how do you know me? Avengers Age of Ultron is a movie that I saw and I enjoyed, and it's a good movie. But I said the same thing twice, but with different words. Watch Avengers Age of Ultron. It was a very fun movie, and I just generally enjoyed the movie. It's a movie that lived up to the hype. I enjoyed it much more than Avengers 1, but I will admit that it wasn't better than Avengers 1. I don't know why I enjoyed Age of Ultron more. Maybe it was mostly because I liked Ultron more as a villain than I did Loki. Loki was the best villain Marvel has ever had, but for some reason, the whole I'm British and I have a spear and I'm gonna stab you with it. Oh, that sounds more Australian. I'm British and I can kill you. Anyways, Ultron was just great, and I think that's, really made this movie. But also, I feel like what really shined in this movie was Joss Whedon's writing. It was just fantastic. All the actors gave, amazing performances with their characters, but Joss Whedon's writing was just amazing. It shined through. Like, you could tell this is what really, made these characters great. And it's kind of odd how the only person in Marvel who's been able to make good villains has been Joss Whedon. Like, if you think about it, Loki gave a decent performance in Thor, but he shined in the Avengers. And since the Avengers, all the other villains that've been in these movies have been kind of like, meh. And then now Ultron, and Ultron is just great. Finally, we have another good villain. And I think, like, the next time we'll see a good villain in Marvel will be like, oh wait, Vincent D'Onofrio was really good as Kingpin in Marvel's Daredevil. If you haven't seen that, which is on Netflix, watch it, because it was great. The only thing I really could say bad about this movie was that it felt kind of rushed at certain points. And how should I say, is that Ultron, the creation of Ultron was kind of like, boop, that's it. It happened, and it was like 2 seconds, and it felt like there was even a montage, and then Ultron was created, and that's it. And there was nothing leading up to it. I felt like it should have been a bit longer. And then his transition from I'm going to destroy the world was just instantaneous, and there was nothing. Like, I feel like there's a bit more that was missing, and it's kind of confirmed when Joss Whedon says that his original cut of the movie was 3.5 hours long. And we will probably see that full version on the Blu-ray. We'll see an extended edition, an extended cut, and I think there will be one. And I could tell it was kind of obvious, and there were some things that felt a bit rushed, and maybe there were some scenes that were missing that would have been really cool. And I guess we'd see it in the extended cut, whatever. But still, the movie was great on its own. It's 2 hours and 20 minutes instead of three and a half hours long, which is, I would have seen that 3.5 hour Avengers movie. That would have been great. That would have been amazing. I would have waited in line for that. That was good. I mean, what are you gonna do? So anyways, James Spader is a fantastic villain in this movie. He's actually really funny as Ultron too, but also very creepy, just physically. He looks very creepy, and Ultron in the comics has no expressions whatsoever. He's a robot. He's not going to have expressions. But somehow, giving Ultron, expressions and reacting to what people say is even creepier. And I felt like it wouldn't have worked on screen if he didn't have the facial, the facial expressions. If he didn't have those expressions, then I think it wouldn't have worked as well in the movie. I mean, seeing a whole villain like that the whole time, I don't think it wouldn't have worked as well as he is now. I mean, like, even his eyes had emotion in it. His red, soulless eyes had emotion in it, and that was even creepier. Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver were great in this movie too. I mean, I personally enjoyed, Scarlet Witch the most, and I thought Quicksilver was good, not better than Quicksilver in Days of Future Past. But I would have loved to see him, have more screen time, and that probably would have made him even better. But we'll see. Anyways, Scarlet Witch was just great in this movie too. I mean, there was this thing where she would play like just weird, because that's what Scarlet Witch is. She's really weird. If anybody's ever read the comics, she falls in love with like robots and stuff. In the Ultimate comics, she falls in love with Ultron, and then in the regular 616 universe, she's married to Vision. So yeah. Talking about Vision, Vision was also great in this movie. His small amount of screen time, like, I don't know, probably 10 to 15 minutes total, was just great. Paul Bettany played him to perfection. Vision was just amazing every time he was on screen. And the Hulk and Black Widow bromance, I was about to say bromance, that would have been weird, but romance was actually pretty cool. I mean, some people might not like it. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a cool aspect, and at first, when I found this out about in the trailers, I'm like, maybe she's doing it because she doesn't really love him, but she knows that she can control the Hulk. She should bring it back down to Banner, and he won't start going crazy and killing people. And she probably did it because after her experience in the first movie, she realized she needed to find a way to control him. That's what I originally thought, but she genuinely loves, Bruce Banner, and that's really cool. I really liked that aspect of the movie. I didn't think it was bad at all. I don't think it hurt the film either. It was really, really cool, and I don't see a problem with it. I mean, probably some people will, but whatever. Hawkeye had a bit more time on here. We found out a few more things about his life, and I like it. I mean, some people don't like Hawkeye, and they think he's useless, but they even talked about it in this movie. They brushed upon the topic, but I really think he's great, and it was great that he had more time on screen, and it was really awesome. But by the end of this movie, I'm not going to spoil anything, the universe has changed. They said it before the movie, they said everything's going to be different. This movie's going to change a lot of things, and I was kind of like, yeah, people always say that, blah, 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 and they did. The universe has really changed. Lots of things are very different. The same thing with the Winter Soldier. Changed everything, and now this one also just completely changed everything. Like, it's just great. But yeah, there is no end credit scene. There is a mid credit scene, little thingy there, and it was pretty cool. That's it. It was just cool, but it's just kind of more teasing towards Infinity War, and that's it. And yeah, there was also one more issue was having Thor go on this side quest that he goes on. It kind of tells him more about Vision, but I felt like it felt like there was something more missing. Again, this whole thing, having to cut down to 2 hours and 20 minutes instead of the 3.5 hours cut that he had, probably would explain a bit more. But what are you gonna do? The movie's still enjoyable, regardless of that fact. It was just like he goes on his weird side quest thing, and it feels like it's just they're just building up Thor Ragnarok. So it was kind of, that's what happens when you're sort of in a contract with this whole universe. Everything's connected. Everything affects everything. So what are you going to do? But anyways, Avengers Age of Ultron is a movie that you should watch, and especially if you do like Marvel movies. It was very enjoyable, and it lives up to the hype. So yeah, this review is vlog style because I was too lazy to set up the camera stand and all that crap. Whatever. I haven't done a review in a long time. Who cares? So yeah, my name is Robert, and that's the movie.
Number 2 is a sequel to Dumb and Dumber, which came out in 1994. It stars Jason Sudeikis, Jason Bateman, and Charlie Day. And they reprise